It's Faye Grimstone. I'm doing my story thing now. Let me just do a few little touch-ups here. I'm doing black screen because you don't really need to see my face when I do this. I don't think. There we go. Oh, all better. Sorry, you guys. I'm really out of it today. But that's not going to stop us. Right. Okay. First story. Yay. The Time Traveler's Journey. My name is Evelyn Nixie Faystone, and my boyfriend is a time traveler. I guess I should have realized it sooner with the way he dressed. His name is Foster Aubrey, and we have been dating for 3 years now. Before I met Foster, I was an outsider who would sit on my front yard under my grandparents' maple tree playing my guitar. I barely noticed the moving truck until Foster was sitting in front of me. I was busy escaping reality by singing You'll Be in My Heart, a song I loved as a child, and it was a song I grew up with. Come stop your crying, it'll be alright. Just take my hand, hold it tight. I will protect you from all around me. I will be here, don't you cry. I stared at the boy who sat across from me, smiling, his violet eyes glowing. I stared at him as though I had met him a million times before. You sing like an angel, he said with a gap-toothed grin. I blushed and smiled as I twirled one of my short black curly locks. May I ask the angel's name? The boy asked me. My name is Evelyn, but everyone calls me Nixie. Nixie Faystone, I said quietly. I'm Foster Aubrey, the boy told me. I smiled and stared at Foster, the way he looked into my eyes, almost searching for an answer. I could feel Foster getting closer, and soon, so was I. We were touching noses before we were interrupted. Foster! Get your ass over here now! Shrieked a girl. I blushed furiously and ran inside, slamming the door behind me. Who was I even kidding? Foster could never like me. He already had a girlfriend. From that day forward, I tried to avoid Foster so I wouldn't get hurt. When July 4th rolled around, I stayed in my room while my grandmother and grandfather went to enjoy the fireworks. I was strumming my guitar, enjoying the silence of the large empty household. As I strummed, I dropped the guitar when I heard a banging on my door. I ran downstairs wearing only a large skull t-shirt and blue denim shorts. I ran down the stairs 2 at a time and threw open the door, frightening the guests that stood waiting on the doorstep. Foster! I cried out in surprise. Hey, Nixie, Foster stammered. Oh my gosh, you're bleeding! I cried as I watched the blood drip from Foster's right eye. I grabbed Foster's arm and dragged him into the house. As Foster sat down at the counter, I grabbed a small washcloth and first aid kit. I held it gently and slowly pressed it against his cut and listened as he sucked in air. What happened? I asked, suddenly both concerned and furious. Drake Velvet happened. He called my baby sister Tara a slut, and I had to fight for her honor. Nobody says that about my baby sister, Foster said nobly. I rolled my eyes, trying hard not to smile. He was an idiot for going after Drake. Your cut is going to leave a scar, I'm afraid. Serves you right, though, I said grumpily. I hated how Foster made me feel. He made me want to sing and punch him at the same time. Every time he smiled at me, my voice squeaked. Hey, Nixie, do you want to go on a date? As you can see, I've scraped myself falling for you, Foster asked me. Foster stared at me, smiling, as I clumsily picked up the contents of the first aid kit after I dropped it on the floor. Yes. Sure. Why not? I stuttered, my face growing red. I turned around to see Foster smiling at me. As he watched me put away the first aid kit, my face red. Foster got up and walked over to me and took my hand in his and led me outside. Where are we going?" I asked, confused. "On a date," Foster said, smiling as we walked to his pickup truck. I smiled at Foster as he hopped into his truck. We drove through the small town towards Lover's Point. As we pulled into a spot, Foster put the truck in reverse so we faced the dirt road. Foster got out of the car and stared at me, smiling. "Come on," Foster called to me. I slowly got out and gasped at what I saw on the tailgate. A large blanket and pillows surrounding the edges, laying perfectly still. "I thought you might like it," Foster whispered as he helped me crawl in. "I've always wanted to do this, just sit and watch the stars," I said as I smiled and laid back. "How about the fireworks instead?" Foster offered as a flash of blue illuminated the sky. We spent the whole night talking, smiling and laughing as though we'd known each other for years. After that night, Foster and I were inseparable. Every chance Foster got, he spoiled me and was always there for me. My grandparents adored Foster and always smiled, even bigger when he came over. One day, while I was at Foster's house, I found a large photo album on the couch next to me. I looked over at Foster as I watched as he paced the kitchen and made tea. I smiled and slowly opened the book and stared at an old photograph of Foster's parents. The next picture was of Foster as he was holding his newborn sister Tessa. Tessa looked so small and looked like an angel as she stared at her new big brother. As I turned the page, my smile turned into confusion. I stared at the picture long and hard. It was a picture of Foster in old clothing, next to a girl who looked like me. I flipped the page once more, and once again, Foster was beside a girl who looked like me. But this time, there was a young couple with them, smiling and laughing. I took a closer look and stared in confusion. Those children looked like my grandparents. I flipped the pages, and each time there was the girl and Foster standing beside each other in different clothing from different centuries. "Foster, who is this?" I asked as he sat down beside me. "Oh, Nixie. I have to tell you the truth about my past," Foster started slowly. "Okay," I said, scared. "A long time ago, when my parents were still alive, they were known as scientists, and they created a machine that let us travel through time. When there was a war, we traveled through time. Every year we went to, there was a girl who was one of your ancestors. I've always asked your ancestors asking about me, if they'll remember me, and each time they haven't." Foster looked at me, saddened. I stared at Foster and felt as long-lost memories flooded through my brain of me and Foster, courting, fighting to save the environment, colored rights, and women's rights. I stared at Foster and kissed him longingly as I stared into his eyes and whispered, "I remember." The end.